Hello. So in this video, I would like to talk about wax. Okay, so I'd like to talk about how I use them. I'd like to talk about where I'm able to buy them, and then how I cannot survive without them. Okay, so the very first thing I want to share is if you just got your braces, your mouth is adjusting, and you can feel that the metals are just sort of like scraping the inner linings of your mouth, right? And for me, I felt like it wasn't a big deal. It was scratching. Okay, first night was good. It was not really about the pain, but it's just more like about the discomfort of it feels like everything is squeezed in, and then you can feel the metals scraping your inner linings, right? Then second night, the scraping, you will, at least for me, this side had a lot more scraping happening, and then I've got some scraping underneath here, and then so I still did not use the wax. I'm like, I'm fine, no big deal. The third night, the scrape has now become sores. So that's when I started using this. And not only that, it's not just the scraping itself. When you're sleeping or during the day, not just sleeping. So during the day, I found myself sort of sucking like this, keep like swallowing my saliva. It was just a natural tendency that I developed, because I feel like, your mouth is kind of protruding, the braces are there, it's kind of watery inside the mouth, and then you're kind of just sucking the saliva. And what's happening, at least for me, is as I suck, this starts like kind of like contacting this inner lining here, and then inner lining here as well, and it's starting to sort of irritate. And I started feeling scared about this, and I'm like, I don't want to have any canker sores here, right? So what I did is I started using the wax. So you open the wax, right? Make sure your hands are clean, okay? You separate the wax, right? So you take one. And I've got some wax already in my teeth, but I make sure that before I put this, I've kind of cleaned all my braces. I've already brushed my teeth, and I'm gonna bring the phone just a tiny bit closer so you can see how I do it, right? So this is it. And then depending on the size of your brace, we would want to estimate the size of this wax, okay? So at first I was doing, because it's small, then I want small. But I realized it has to be big enough to cover this, and it has to be thick enough to cover this, because if that's the case, oh my God, you would feel the difference. When it's fully covered, you would not feel any scraping at all, and you would appreciate the value of this wax, okay? So let me just show you one. So for instance, I'm gonna cover this, right? These ones I already covered, because these are the ones that really hurt the most. One of the most, and then this like inner ones, I already covered them, right? So I'm just going to get this small piece here, okay? At first, I kind of like, it said form a ball, but I feel like I can just get a piece and it's square and it's good enough for me. I don't have to form a ball, but at least it kind of spray. For me, what works is that I kind of just warm it like this said, and then shape it in my mouth, and then in my fingertips, and then put it on top. Okay. Maybe this is too small. If you can see, it should have been bigger. Okay. Anyway, so let's pretend I'm gonna hit it here, right? This is too big, so I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna get more. Okay. See that? Then I'm just going to like make, it's like Play-Doh, you're kind of just forming Play-Doh. And then I think this is big enough, right? And then I'm gonna hit it here, okay? So now I hit it, and it makes a big difference. Oh my gosh, it's so smooth, feels good. You feel this inner happiness and like a tinge of joy, and then you just want to cover everything. And once you cover everything, it's like, oh my God, I'm I'm so stress-free, right? So you just continue doing that. Some folks want it all covered. I tried many other things. Like I tried just small enough to cover this, or big enough to cover everything. The advantages is when it's small enough to just cover the brace, right? It looks better. You don't look like you, because what happens is it kind of pushes your lips like this, right? And you kind of feel like you're like this at work, right? And then you kind of keep sucking the you know, your saliva, and you just feel like, oh my god, what's going on? But the thing about the small one is sometimes they fall off easily. Now, the thicker, the bigger, the better, right? So you really don't feel anything at all. You just feel like you kind of just like protruding, but everything feels smooth. The con there, at least for me, is because they're big, right? So what happens is when you eat, you feel like everything is going in here, and then you don't know anymore what is food and what is wax. And then you're like picking on your food. Next thing you know, the wax is like, sometimes you don't know whether you're swallowing the wax or swallowing the food, which by the way, they said it's safe, you know, to accidentally swallow the wax. It's not gonna give you any health issues or any health risks. So for me, bigger is more comfortable, but it's a lot more discomfort when you're eating, because you don't know if it's food or if it's the wax that you're feeling. You know how sometimes when you have something on your teeth, your tongue just naturally goes around and kind of feel your gums and your teeth, and you're like feeling it, and you're like, is that like a wax or is that food? So it's hard to differentiate when it's a lot bigger. When it's a lot smaller, it's a lot easier to eat, but then it is a lot easier for it to come off. Okay, so you may ask me, okay, so can you reuse the wax? So here are the things that I've learned. Again, it's only my second week. I'm not an expert here. I'm just sharing with you what I experienced. Okay, my first week I was so anal about the wax. I put on the wax. All of my braces, each of them have wax, and I feel very comfortable, right? But then here comes eating time, and then you know, you get braver each day when you eat. I'll have another video about eating, but what I mean by braver is you know, you start getting comfortable. Your mouth is getting used to having braces, and they said, you know, one of the dentists said you'll start to form some calluses, and then your mouth is not gonna react too much anymore with the scraping. And so now you're getting more brave to eat more solid food, right? And then you start like kind of just like eating using your grinders, right? But anyway, so when that happens, you feel that your mouth is so dirty. So many things in between your teeth, right? So what I do is I brush my teeth at lunchtime. I take out all the wax, brush, and then while you're brushing, wax still comes off. You know, you thought you pulled everything out, but there's some small waxes that are retained in the braces, and then you're brushing and they're all falling off. And then after I brush, I floss, and then after I floss, I was using like 1 pack morning and lunch, okay? And then another pack in the evening, because I was like so meticulous. And not only that, it was taking me 15 to 20 minutes to brush, to floss, to this. And then I got to a point where, you know, I got a little bit smarter about my wax, because at one point I ran out of it and I didn't know where to buy. I went to Walmart and I found that they sell Dentix. Okay, so this is $1.98, and I'm like, oh my god, if I'm going to spend $1.98 every day, like 2 packs a day, right? Well, how is this gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And I started looking at it in Amazon, and then they've got things there that's like $11, and you get about 12 packs of this, and I'm like, that's super cool. I bought it. I'm a Prime member. I bought it, and when it came, all right, it's nothing like this. It's like almost half the size of this. They're all melted. You know, I live in Arizona. It's always very hot. and then when it's put into the mailbox, it's melt. And then they came with some smell, and I felt like, okay, it's cheap, but you do not know whether it's gonna give you some health risk. So I told myself, okay, what is the best for me? I listened to myself, I listened to my heart, and my heart told me, just stick with Dentix. You feel safe, you feel happy when you're doing it, you're not worried about it, you're just really focused on putting wax on your braces instead of worrying whether it's a health risk, is it clean, is it like whatever, if FDA, you know, approve or whatever, right? So I can just focus on making myself comfortable using the wax. So I buy a Walmart, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try the gum as well. I think the gum is a lot more expensive than Dentex. For now, this one works for me very well. So it's up to you if you want to try other brands, but for me at least, I love this brand. It's solid enough, it's cheap enough, and most importantly, I can buy it at Walmart. Walmart is only 10 minutes away from where I live. I went to the other supermarkets, but they just have some cleaners, but they didn't have any wax. So it's very accessible. I'm sure that Walgreens and CVS would carry this as well. So I highly recommend this brand at least, right? So anyway, so going back to the wax. So I started with just putting wax on the brace that was causing me pain. And then I moved to I said I'm sleeping tonight. I'm not gonna be a victim of this pain anymore. And I don't want to wait till the other braces are gonna scrape my mouth. And so what I moved into putting wax in each of the braces, and I felt very good. And then I moved to a phase where, oh my God, you know, do I really have to put wax, and every time I eat and I want to brush and all of the wax fall off, right? So now I got to a phase where I plan everything now. I'm like, am I gonna eat again? How many times am I gonna eat again? And how am I gonna deal with the feeling that the mouth is so dirty? So then I got to the point where, okay, I have wax everywhere, and then I plan what I eat, and I plan when I'm eating it. So when I eat, I make sure that I'm gonna eat as much as I can at that time, because it takes me 20 minutes or 30 minutes to brush and floss and all that and put the wax on. So it's like I gotta make sure I have enough food in my tummy until the next time I'm gonna brush my teeth, right? So so here's my routine now. So let's start with that, because that's a little bit easier for me to explain. Before I go to bed, I brush, right? So I've already done dinner. I brush, everything is clean. I floss, I brush, I floss, I rinse with mouthwash. I have a water pick, I water pick. The entire thing takes about 30 minutes, and sometimes my husband's like, what's going on there? Where are you? What is still going on there? And now he's kind of used to my routine and like, okay, she is just cleaning her teeth and her braces, right? And then I put all the wax. Okay. And then in the morning, the very first time I did that, I'm like, oh my God, I just slept. I did not eat anything. Do I have to remove all this wax again? I brush my teeth, all this wax again, and then put them all, and I'm like, it's gonna take me over an hour to prepare to work, right? So what I did is, so I've got the wax, I slept, which by the way, again, if you take the tips of, well, you know, it's big enough, thick enough, it will really stick on your braces, and then you can sleep, and then you will not swallow it. At least that's what was my experience. I wake up and I'm like, there is no way I'm gonna go through the brushing, taking it off, brushing, flossing, and all that. So what I did was, because I did not eat, right, I just drank water. You know, that's what I do the first thing in the morning when I wake up, you know. So what I did is, your toothbrush, right, I brushed my teeth, but not necessarily the braces. So put a little bit of a toothpaste, and then what I did is I lightly brushed the top, the inside, right, my tongue, and very lightly the gums, right? And then I lightly rinsed my mouth with the mouthwash, rinse again because I don't like the aftertaste of the mouthwash. And then that was my morning, and I'm like, okay, I saved 30 minutes, but I still feel that my mouth is clean, right? And then of course, you know, I drink coffee, I drink water, I drink lemonade. I really don't eat breakfast in the morning. So that's another thing about wax too. With the wax, when you drink coffee, it doesn't melt. Hot coffee, right? It doesn't melt. It just sticks there. And if it falls off, right? What I do is like, it falls off and you're like, oh my god, is that food? Then you kind of just pick it up. You kind of just dry it in your thumb, or like sometimes I get I have a piece of cloth with me, or sometimes just kind of make sure it dries again, and then I stick it back, and then it works again. So again, nighttime, everything is clean. Put them all in the morning, light washing, brushing, rinsing, and then I do my lunch. And then at lunch, I go eat my food. I'm gonna have another video on the food, right? And then I brush, floss, and then, you know, you're slow the first time, but you get better and better. And so now the 30-minute routine is now 15 minutes for me. So what I do now, and again, I'm learning, right? I go to the bathroom because I don't wear a wristwatch. I go to the bathroom, I bring my phone, and while I'm doing it, I'm making sure I'm timing myself just so I'm not late for any of my meetings, right? So, and I do that, put my wax on again, and then I go back to work. And then I eat. Sometimes I eat on my way home, and then I have dinner, and then I kind of just, you know, for my sanity, like I show this toothbrush, like I'm, you know, kind of just like pick the food away, just to make me feel like, okay, it's all fine. You can now start focusing on enjoying your food, eat, and then sometimes you kind of just like pick your teeth or some of the bases, and then you eat again. And then until you're ready to finally say, okay, this is the last time I'm gonna eat for the night. I'm gonna clean and I'm gonna brush and put my wax on, and I'm ready for bed. So those are the 2 times. So I brush my teeth 3 times a day, right? Mouthwash, definitely twice a day. Flossing, I love flossing. So flossing is like at least 3 times a day for me. And sometimes just for the emotional, you know, just lessen the stress, sometimes I go to the bathroom and I kind of just like look at my teeth and look at my braces, and I kind of like, okay, floss a little bit. Okay. So, okay, again, if you need the wax, I want to say that too. I just have wax everywhere in my bag now. I have a wax in my purse. I always carry a purse when I'm going to meetings, and so I just have it there just in case one wax falls off. I go to in between meetings, I just go to the ladies' room and I just kind of put one, right? And sometimes I feel like one of the braces will not scrape, but then some days it feels like it's scraping the inner lining, and then so I just make sure it's handy. I also have one in my travel kit, one in the bathroom. It's like everywhere, right? So you just want to have it handy so you don't feel like, oh no, I need wax and then I don't have it. Okay, so I hope this helps. Share your experiences about the wax. Again, I'm not an expert, but just want to share, and hopefully this helps the first time brace wearers. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.